那时候出场的时候叫到我的时候就是有点鸡皮疙瘩，没想到会是这么隆重的感觉，就是这个回忆蛮难忘的。
While winning is fantastic, one of the hardest things to face is a loss.
When you lose, you learn a lot more things. But when you lose, you shouldn't lose your self-belief. If you want something in life, obviously, you have to sacrifice a lot. Like, when I went in 14 and 15, it was very tough for me to leave home because I've never gone anywhere outside. But at the same time, I've always loved tennis.
Hello and welcome to Connected. I'm Divya Gopalan. For most of us, watching from the spectator seat or the other side of a screen, the life of a professional athlete seems to be all about action, adrenaline, big bucks, and glamour. But what does it truly take to become one? Top flight athletes often begin their journeys at an incredibly young age, dedicating themselves with an extraordinary level of focus for years, if not decades. Yet only a select few make it to the top. In this episode, we track the rise and fall and rise again of Taiwanese Major League Baseball player Kai-Wei Teng and speak to Indian tennis player Ramkumar Ramanathan, who is competing in Taipei. Turning pro in 2009 at the age of 15, Ramkumar Ramanathan began his tennis career when he was just 5 years old, barely tall enough to see over the net. He reached a career high ranking of number 58 in the world doubles in August 2022, and he ranked 111 for singles in July 2018. Going pro didn't stop his grit and grind. We caught up with him in Taipei for the Challenger tennis tournament. It's not an easy profession you've chosen. What's made you decide to become a professional tennis player?
I think, firstly, I like to thank my dad. He was the one who put me in tennis when I was at a young age, and I did tennis and school side by side, like every other Indian kid, because studies are also very important. In India, they give so much importance. But I was very fortunate to have my parents, helping me to do what I really loved. And also, because my dad didn't get that support from his parents, he really wanted me to play and do what I love.
You started playing when you were 5.
5.
You turned professional when you were 15.
Yeah.
Tell us, what about that turning point? What in your life changed when you became a professional tennis player at the age of 15, where most kids are still not even thinking about their future at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I used to enjoy tennis, I used to look for every practice session, when I was a kid. And slowly, when I went for tournaments, I loved competition. I used to play a lot of tournaments around India. And I started winning slowly in Indian circuit, I was like a guy who used to put a lot of balls in, rally, and that's the way, I used to play. And when I won the junior nationals when I was 14, the Tamil Nadu Tennis Association, my state association, they actually sponsored me to go to Spain for 6 months. And I was very, very lucky to have that opportunity to get some exposure in an international level. And I think that was one of the, I would say, the key things, which I can remember of, at any point of time, and every kid should have that, I would feel.
You've reached, your highest ranking is 111, which by no means is not impressive. That is a great ranking to have. But I need to ask you, why do you think you never cracked the top 100?
I mean, I had a few chances to crack it when I was very close in that ranking. I was around, I would say, 7 or 8 years below 200, always getting into Grand Slams. So I never thought of that, why I couldn't get into the top 100, because I was playing a lot of tournaments. Maybe I was a little unlucky when I was at the peak, like when I was 110, 120. I still, feel that if I keep playing, if I keep competing hard, I still can catch that milestone.
But you've cracked the 100 in the doubles, right? Yeah, I think you've ranked 94 in the doubles ranking. Can you tell us what the difference is when you're playing singles and doubles and how you change your mindset for that?
Yeah, doubles, I was fortunate to have some good partners. Firstly, I'd like to thank Rohan Bopana. We won 2 titles, and it was something which happened out of nowhere because he was supposed to play with a French player in Adelaide, and he pulled out, so I repaired with him, and that's how it all started, the doubles run. But otherwise, doubles, basically, I've always played singles as well as doubles in every tournament I've competed in. I've always enjoyed, I volley well, I serve well. It also helps my singles game. So I've had some good success with Indian players like Purav Raja, Saket Maineni also on the tour. I've always enjoyed playing doubles.
So, what is your message to players who about these numbers and rankings? How should you view them, or should you even think about rankings?
I think it is important when you finish your career, maybe like, just to see, say I was this much, that much. But end of the day, you need to have fun on court, and I think you shouldn't do it like a work, and I think that's the key, which is when you will play out your best in any sport, I feel. And obviously, to have recognition like, being a top 100 or top 50 is a special thing for each person, because we all work towards that. But it shouldn't be the only thing. That will happen if we put in the work, is what I feel.
Only 4 Indian tennis players have won Grand Slams in their careers. And I would say the number of highly ranked players in the ATP Tour itself is quite limited. Why is that? India is such a big country and there is a lot of potential. Why do you think we're not seeing this the way you see in other countries, and particularly European countries, producing these tennis stars and tennis players?
I feel we have the structure in India to, create a lot of players, but I feel also it's not that easy. The tennis is becoming really tough. We don't see that part because, there's a lot of players from Europe, there's a lot of players from US, and the physical fitness also is, the Europeans have an edge on us, I would say, just genetically. And we obviously have the talent, being Indians, but it's all about work.
Why did you pursue your economics degree? Like a lot of players will give up further studies to focus on their career, and especially in Asia, there really is that focus on further studies. So what would you say about balancing the two?
When I finished the 12th was a tricky point in my career, where my parents said, like, Ram, you got to, focus on your studies also, because you never know. With one injury, anything can go off, and you have some base. If you, get a degree with whatever you like, we're not going to push you, but we would like you to do some degree. So then I had some offers from college tennis in US with full scholarship after winning the junior nationals twice and the grass court nationals. Now I, feel that was the right thing, because I have a job in Indian Oil now because of the degree, and it makes a lot of sense to have that, and it's totally right. So yeah, it's very important to have some backup also, I would say, because tennis is still just a sport, and anything can happen at any point, because one injury you can be off for 2 years and there's nothing happening around.
And if I look at the bigger picture of tennis, how do you think it's evolved or changed? I'd say from the time of Agassi or Steffi Graf. How much has tennis changed for your generation?
It's become really tough, I would say. The main part being it's become very physical, because the courts have become really slow nowadays. So they see a lot of rallies, and the balls have become really heavy. So you just cannot finish like points like before. Even like 7-8 years back, there used to be a lot of tournaments where I used to be very fast, the ball's quick. So like player like me, I like something which is quick through the court, and because I serve well, I slice well, I come into the net. You don't see that enough, so everyone can play nowadays because it's slow, and also the money is a lot at the top now. Like if you're top 100, you make a good living out of tennis, and that I think that makes the players invest more on the coaches, physios, and so there's another eye watching the players, and that's a big thing.
And what would you say are the factors affecting tennis players in Asia compared to those in Europe or the West that you see, in fact, in the training, the level of the game, the discipline? Is there a difference you're seeing? Is there something that players here need to aspire to?
I feel the work ethic is a lot more there. Like they push themselves beyond extremes, and that's why you're seeing like 10 guys in the top 100 in from Europe, and that's why we are only like one or two. End of the day, it's all about work and practice, and I feel like they push themselves way more than the Asians. So I feel that's like the main thing, and obviously the support. I feel the infrastructure in Europe is a lot better. In US also, it's developing a lot. So, but in India, I would say it's tough. Like if you have to like be a tennis player, you have to invest a lot, and that's when the question arises, like why should we do this? Putting in so much money, we don't know what's going to happen. So it's a little risky. So that's why I feel like there's not many players at that ranking. So, like obviously the federations are helping a little bit, but it can be a lot more.
The Olympics is coming up. They don't add to your rankings. There is a possibility that you will be part of the Olympics. Why do you think that is important, or is that important to you?
Yeah, for every kid, Olympics, Asian Games, these Grand Slams is, especially for me, like it's something I've dreamt of. Like when I step on the court, you play for these things. Obviously, to play in the Olympics will be like a great thing for me. And Bopana is a phenomenal player, and we've done well in the past. Obviously, it's up to him to decide who he wants to play, but I'll be happy if I get a chance to play with him.
Tennis is as much as a mental game as it is a physical game. Tell me how you prepare yourself mentally for a game.
Mental side is very huge. If something is bothering you, you can't play like in any other profession. I was fortunate to do a lot of yoga and meditation when I was very young. I went to this the place called Triangle Tennis Trust and MMC, where we had 1 hour of meditation and yoga, stretching. So I did that till like 13, 14 years, and I feel that's a big thing, and I still do it a little bit, but I'm working on it now. I'm not as much as before, but I feel if you're calm and if you can like really focus on the tennis, that's when you can play out your best, and a lot of things can affect you, when you're in a tournament, be it, practice booking, be it the stringer screws your string up, but we try not to like get affected by these things, and we learn every day because something or the other happens every day, and can be, you miss a flight, you don't get your bags, then you have to figure out a solution, and yeah, but I feel like tennis has taught me a lot off court also, and whatever you do off court just comes on the tennis court, I feel. So it's all connected.
Can you tell me of a moment, it might have been during a match or maybe off court, where you feel like really defined you and validated you being a tennis player and thought, I really made the right decision here?
I would never regret being a tennis player. Like even during the tough times, I've always enjoyed like the fight. It's when I've lost a lot of matches. It's not an easy thing, but it's always like there's a small saying inside you, like which the belief is there. You're going to make it. It's going to happen. But it's just about like waiting for the moment and fighting, because everyone is doing the same thing and everyone wants to win. So the path is tough, but when you're winning, the confidence builds up.
You started playing at a very, very young age. What are the sacrifices that they should be prepared to make to reach the levels you have?
Yeah, I mean, if you want something in life, obviously, you have to sacrifice a lot. Like, when I went in 14 and 15, it was very tough for me to leave home because I've never gone anywhere outside. But at the same time, I've always loved tennis. But when I went there, when I stayed for long, and the academy became like family to me, they tried to help me with some Indian food, whatever they knew, and there was an Indian chef. And yeah, you don't see family much. That's one thing. You miss out on friends. You miss out on going out for dinners with your school friends or college friends. And there's a lot of things you want to do in your free time, but you cannot, because you need to rest for the next day. You need to be prepared, or else you get injured. But there's always people pushing you when you go to these places.
How do you personally cope with a loss?
I mean,
what is your message to people? Because that's one of the hardest. Like, while winning is fantastic, one of the hardest things to face is a loss. And how do you pick yourself up after that?
Like, sometimes it's when you lose is when you realize, things better. Like when you win, you just walk off. You don't even think of the match. You're like, you won, and the next day comes up. But when you lose, you learn a lot more things. But when you lose, you shouldn't lose your self-belief that you can win that match when you play it the next time, and you work towards it. Like there would be some things which didn't work that day, or there'll be some things which you can be better on. So you have to note it down and work on it rather than being very negative. Obviously, if you haven't played well, you'll be sad for a few hours, but once that's gone, I feel like when you wake up the next day, you should review a little bit, watch a little bit of what happened. A coach comes into play a lot, because he's the one who's helping you a lot. It can be anybody, coach or somebody who supports you, gives you that confidence when you talk to. I think all these factors, obviously parents also make a big thing, because you don't want them to say something which affects you the next day. So over the last few years, it's very good that they've not said anything, parents. But I would say for every kid, I think that's the key. Like a support system. That's why all these players say we have a great team. Nadal can be Djokovic. The team is very important, and you should have your circle. Where they believe in you, even if it's that one person, you should have them.
So, as you're in Taiwan, I have to ask, what is it that you've enjoyed about being here?
Definitely the bubble tea, and there's a lot of Indian food here, so it's okay for me. I'm happy to come. The year I made the final year in singles was, I think, 2018, and I played it like 16, 17 and 18, I think. I've always done well here. And yeah, I've always enjoyed the bubble tea.
My final question to you is, you've achieved a lot already in your career and on the ATP Tour, but what is next for you? What is on your list of to-do still?
A long-term goal would be getting back to top 100, which I feel is going to be very tough. But, I still feel I have the game, and I have to put in a lot of work on my fitness. And for the next few years, I would definitely get back into at least playing the qualifying for all the Grand Slams. Let's say starting from US Open, I have a few months and I'm around 350, so I have to get another 100 points, 100 or so points to get back like into the top 250, and I can be playing all these Grand Slams. So yeah, the short-term goal would be trying to make it to the qualifying of US Open and play all these Grand Slams and singles. And obviously Olympics is around the corner. I just want to be part of Olympics, and I don't want to if we can win a medal, it'll be amazing. That too would throw on. But for now, Olympics and Grand Slams, and a long-term goal would be definitely getting back into top 100.
Hailing from Taichung, Taiwan, Kai-Wei Teng endured 6 long years of throwing fastballs in the minors before taking to the mound in the big leagues. He made his major league debut on April 5th this year for the San Francisco Giants home opener to become the 17th Taiwanese player ever to make it to the MLB. Howard Lin has been following the ups and downs of his U.S. journey and tells his story from San Francisco.
A proud moment for Taiwan and a dream come true for 25-year-old Kai-Wei Teng. On April 5th, the San Francisco Giants kicked off their home opener for the new season. Playing to a packed stadium, it was a career-defining game for the right-hander, cementing his position as the only active Taiwanese player in a Major League Baseball. Speaking after the game, beside his locker 70, his number on the team, Teng explains what it was like to see his name on the Giants' outfield display at Oracle Park.
那时候出场的时候叫到我的时候就是有点鸡皮疙瘩，没想到会是这么隆重的感觉，就是这个 回忆蛮难忘的。
On March 30th, Kai-Wei Teng got a call of a lifetime with the news that he was promoted from AAA to the majors by the Giants. He became the 17th player from Taiwan and the first Taiwanese pitcher in MLB since 2019.
内心很激动，然后很兴奋，因为其实很久没有看到他在场上投球，尤其就是现场这样子，所以我们其实觉得很开心。
Teng's family flew in from Taiwan to see him make history at Oracle Park. They were among the Taiwanese fans bearing his nation's flag, proud to cheer on of their own.
从来真没有预期到我们可以看到台湾人上场，
就是总教练对他的球质也蛮有信心的，所以我觉得他应该可以在大联盟有一定的立足这样，所以我们台湾人都帮他加油。
While there was an outpouring of support for Kai-Wei's debut at the game, many are unaware of his uphill battle to get to the major league.
因为其实他的个性就是都报喜不报忧啦，所以他很多辛苦或是一些我们不为人知比较心酸的事情，他都会自己默默去承受。对，我们其实就是也是希望说他们可以多跟我们分享，不管是好的坏的这样。对啊，那当然就是看他这样子，就是真的很辛苦啦，就是我们自己才会知道。
I first interviewed him in July 2023 at a dugout of his former team, the River Cats. It was a month after his AAA promotion, but he was reeling from a disappointing performance at the 2023 World Baseball Classic.
就看到的时候，第一时间还是会觉得，就是有点被打击吧。
Teng had faced an onslaught of criticism and cyberbullying after loading the bases with just 7 pitches in the game against Panama. They eventually lost the game, 12-5. Far away from home and family, he admits it was one of the toughest periods in his baseball career. Teng signed with Minnesota Twins in 2018. It was the start of a 6-year journey that will take him from Fort Myers in Florida across the country to San Francisco in California. He struggled with the language barrier, having arrived in the United States, speaking little English.
I want the combo number 3. Yeah. Medium or large? Large.
At the AAA level, he was scraping by on a salary of $36,000 annually. The MLB minimum salary for 2023 was $720,000.
这个球场对我来说就是我会一直去觉得我明年就会在这边打球的感觉。
In November 2023, Teng joined the top 30 prospect at an exclusive camp at Oracle Park. It was a pivotal moment. His name was added to the Giants' 40-man roster, signaling his upcoming major league debut. It came less than 5 months later. The first game he played for the Giants was on March 31st against the San Diego Padres, which they lost. But his support from the fans kept up his spirits. He sent a message of thanks from the Giants locker room.
谢谢他们，在我不管是我从我刚出国就认识我，或是从去年经典赛，或是我上大联盟才认识我的球迷，跟他们说谢谢吧。就是很多，就是他们可以看我一路这样走上来。
On April 8th, Teng stepped out on the diamond at Oracle Park for his first home game for the Giants. The San Francisco team were losing to the Washington Nationals when the game took an unexpected turn. Blake Snell, last year's Cy Young winner, struggled and was put out early. Teng was called to the mound. They lost the game too, but his standout performance not only outlasted all other pitchers, but also earned high praise from Giants manager Bob Melvin.
Yeah, he saved us. So, once Miller comes out of the game, Roop comes into the game for pretty much the first time he's been touched up a little bit. Now we need some innings to cover, and even though he gave up a couple of runs, he saved us, and I thought he pitched well.
But the tide turned from Teng in the fourth game. He faced a new hurdle, pitching with runners on base as soon as he entered the game, a situation he hadn't encountered as a starter. With little time to warm up or prepare mentally, he threw 36 pitches and allowed 5 runs in just 1 inning. That day, the Giants suffered their worst defeat of the season, losing 17-1.
就今年在牛棚就是遇到很多新的挑战，所以我觉得就是还是有很多东西要学吧。
This game turned out to be Kai-Wei Teng's temporary goodbye to the major league. The next day, he was sent back to the AAA Sacramento Rivercast, wrapping up his 22-day stint in the majors. Despite its brevity, Teng's time in the big league shone a bright spotlight on Taiwanese baseball, showcasing its vitality and potential to captivate and inspire fans around the world.
一定是非常的努力，但是或许是缺少一个舞台，所以有机会他有掌握，那他有上大联盟的机会，是我们会非常感动的，而且希望他可以好好努力，并且在大联盟上立足，可以让我更多台湾人可以看到哦，我们台湾人其实棒球是可以的。
His brief but significant stint in the majors taught Teng that a pitcher's mound in MLB demands unwavering resilience. His 11 innings in the majors is far from a strikeout, but just the beginning of his major league dream. Howard Lin in San Francisco for Connected.
So, if there's one thing I've learned from Ramkumar and Kai-Wei's stories, it's that chasing the dream of becoming a professional athlete takes a lot more than just talent. It takes sacrifice, dedication, sheer determination, and extreme willpower, both physically and mentally. As the 2024 Olympics in Paris draw near, we wish the athletes competing in the Games the very best of luck. And for our viewers everywhere, it has been good to have your company. If you've enjoyed today's episode or have anything you'd like to add to the dialogue, do join the conversation on our social media. And remember, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay connected.